Hey friends, it's Life Coach Rich, and I wanted to just check. I've got an old boat here, 1993 Stratus boat, and so it's we bought it in 2020, and I need some TLC done on it. You know, going to be doing some stuff to it, replacing some boat carpet and replacing the seats, and then I'm checking some electrical stuff right now. And so the aerator's not working and the bilge pump's not working. So just checked. I want to talk to you about that real quick, how to check that. I can check voltage up under here, under the switches. So I'm going to check the aerator switch and check the voltage up under there, and then we'll see what voltage that we have trying to go to the aerators when I turn the switch on. If it doesn't have full voltage, that's going to be a problem, and that's why the aerator's not working. Same with the bilge pump. I'm going to check it as well. It should also be getting 12 volts, and maybe that's all that's wrong with it. I may have a good bilge pump. I don't need to replace it if it's working, but it's not going to work if I don't have the proper voltage. Is test the actual switches, because these are really old switches. I tested back there first, and instead of having 12 volts, well, then I had not even 1 volt. Well, then, it's not going to work. And so I should have tested up here first, and that's what I did. I'll show you how to test the switch real quick. On a switch like this is just a little toggle switch. It's either on or off. And so you can basically, I just pulled these back just a little bit so I can get the leads on here. And then the one, like if it's like on this other switch, I've already taken this one off. Then if it's a brighter colored wire, then you can put the red terminal on it, and you're testing for 12 volt DC. And all of this is DC. It's not going to shock you or anything. It's just low voltage, 12 volt. And so anyway, then if you have a brighter colored wire, you can test it on that one, while it's still on the switch, and then you can put your negative on this other one. This one, this one, it's hard to tell, but this one does have a little line on it. But anyway, just test it with the switch off. Test it and see if you have 12 volts. That's the key. Test it and see if you have 12 volts. And if you need to reverse them because you don't have it right, well, then that's fine. Test it and see if you have 12 volts with it off. And then whenever I switched it on, then I had like less than 1 volt. Okay, and I confirmed that whenever I went to the back and tested, I had like less than 1 volt. It's like 1/3 of a volt. So that's not going to work. My pumps, my bilge pump, nor my aerators are going to work because it has less than 1 volt. It needs 12 volts, at least on this boat with one battery like that. So anyway, that's what you can test. If you test it and then you do not have 12 volts, well, then your switch is bad. So that's only sending less than 1 volt through the switch, so therefore it's not getting the proper power back to the bilge pump and the aerators to work. So I go to, you can order these online, or I just got regular toggle switches from like AutoZone or O'Reilly's, because it's going to be under here. It's not going to get splashed on and stuff, and it has a little rubber cover that goes over the front anyway to protect water from getting in there. And so anyway, I just got toggle switches from there, and that should work. So I'm going to put these on and let's see if everything's working. Now, so I just replaced this one, and unfortunately, then I've got 12.3 volts going through there, but that's my bilge pump, and the bilge pump's not activating. Okay, so I know that the switch is good now. So see, before the switch was bad. I've replaced this, and I tested the voltage here, and then my bilge pump is not coming on. So it's the same with my aerator pumps. So I'm going to do the other toggle switch and then turn that on, and then see if both of the aerator pumps come on fine. And so if it doesn't, then I have to test further downstream. Now I have to go all the way to the pumps and test. Since I've got 12.3 volts going through the switch, I've got to see what voltage I have right outside, maybe a foot from the bilge pump and the aerator pumps, because I've got to have 12 volts down there. If I didn't have that, well, then maybe there's some interruption in my wire. I might have to run a new set of wires all the way down, because I have to get the proper voltage to the pumps. And then last step, if I get the proper voltage to the pumps within a foot of the pumps, and then they're still not working, then if I've got the proper voltage, then okay, well, it's time to replace the bilge pump, or it's time to replace the aerator pump. So you just test here to switch first, and then you test further downstream if they're still not working. I did little jumper wires. These are something I made, but then I tested it like this, testing inside where the little connectors are, and the aerator pump, the second aerator pump is working, when I hook it directly to power, but the bilge pump is not working when I hook it directly to power, so that's a bummer. I have to replace that stupid thing way under there. But anyway, that's how you can determine it. But whenever I check the wires coming back here through the switch, I still have only 1 volt. So when I hook it directly, then it'll work, or in this case, the bilge pump, when I hook it directly to the battery, then it is not working. So that tells you the bilge pump is bad. But it still doesn't solve the problem of why do I only have 1 volt back here when I'm on the actual wires that are coming down here. So that's what I have to investigate further. And got the a new toggle switch, so I put that on there, and then whenever it was off, well, then I had 12 volts, and then whenever it was on, I had 12 volts going through the switch. Great. Go to the back, and I checked it, and then it's still not even 1 volt. Okay, so something's wrong in the wiring. Now remember, this is a 1993 boat, so it could be a harness that's broken, it could be a wire that got pinched, I don't know. There's a whole wiring harness that goes back there. And so I'm not going to sit here and take time to try to figure all that out. It's just easier to just run new wire. It's going to be real easy to run new wire. It's not even 10 feet, and there's only about a 4 to 5 foot section on the hull that I have to push the wire through. So that's going to be so easy so much easier than trying to troubleshoot where the problem is electrically. I'm just going to run new wire back there. So that's the deal. Next, I'll show you how to wire the bilge pump and wire. If you need to do this fresh, I'm going to draw it up and then show you how you need to wire it so that you have independent control of each of those devices. I'll just draw it up on the board so that you can see it.